Welcome to Feed Dump, where it's convention season, so we are food you find in airports. I am a Mile High Club sandwich, and joining me this week is a root beer flotation device.
Be sure to serve yourself before serving others.
And YY cheese sticks.
When exiting the plane, be sure not to rush.
That always bugged me. It's a Canadian airport. It should be Zed. Here's some fun trivia. State symbols of Tennessee. The tomato is Tennessee's official fruit. The cave salamander is Tennessee's official amphibian, because why not? And the Barrett 50 cal sniper rifle is Tennessee's official rifle.
The Barrett 50 caliber sniper rifle, the firearm of choice for shooting both tomatoes and cave salamanders.
Tennessee, number 36 in area, first in stopping power.
Tennessee's that really thin state, right? I applaud them for picking a firearm that can shoot from one border to the other.
As a reminder, the 27-1 Senate decision means the Barrett 50 cal is merely the state rifle of Tennessee. You could still have a revolver, a pistol, semi-auto, fully auto, incendiary.
Thank goodness. When you're picking state weapons, you don't want to narrow your scope too much.
Also, I'm a little concerned about the one person who chose to vote no on this resolution.
Funny you mention it. Why do you think Democratic State Senator Jeff Yarbrough voted no on this resolution?
I couldn't begin to suspect why the manufacturer of the Yarborough 308 would have a problem with this.
Because guns that chamber rounds in metric are for communists?
I imagine when Senator Jeff was chambering around and acquiring his target, the wind took the bullet and hit the no target by accident.
Because when you're in the minority party in politics, it's always best to keep your powder dry?
No, and it certainly wasn't because having a state rifle might be a little silly. It was because he felt it set a dangerous precedent for endorsing a private company, adding that the state senate would find it impossible, he alleged, to choose between Jack Daniels or George Dickel if they ever wanted to appoint a state whiskey.
I don't know, if I'm going to do shots while thinking about states' weapons, I'm going to use Buffalo Tracer rounds.
The more important issue is, who in God's name is George Dickel? I don't know anything about guns or booze.
In the end, 27-1 was quite a landslide. Last year, Tennessee lawmakers were very divided on whether or not the Bible should be made Tennessee's state book. Some arguing that it was integral to the history of the state, and others were arguing that it was too sacred to be set aside the tomato and the cave salamander.
Actually, the tomato and the cave salamander is one of my favorite parables. I think it was one of those VeggieTales things.
And a more relevant book for this day and age featuring a Christian as a main character is probably 50 Shades of Grey.
By definition, Jesus wasn't a Christian.
Well, he wasn't the Dom either. Turn the other cheek and all that.
If nothing else, the book that comes to mind when I think of Tennessee is a romance novel, heavily featuring NASCAR and a skullet.
Meanwhile, in Minnesota, state officials have seized and apologized for even issuing a vanity license plate that says, F Muslims.
It's just a big misunderstanding. The owner of the car owns a gym, and he wanted to advertise Fun Slims, and then there was a spelling error, and everyone got upset.
Minnesota, 12th in area. First Amendment does not apply here.
Apparently, when you apply for a vanity license plate, you can give them options depending on what's available. And the three options that this driver submitted were F Muslims, 8 Slug Thug, and PETA lol, claiming that all three were bands of which he is a member.
Straight up, 8 Slug Thug would be a great name for Doug and the Slugs rap cover band.
Similarly, PETA lol would be a great name for a Guar-esque novelty act where the band hurls ground chuck at the audience.
No, Beach, you've got to actually just carve it off of a rotating spit into flatbread and just hand it to them hilariously somehow.
Now hang on, we don't know what the F stands for in F Muslims. I mean, it could stand for Fun Muslims, Friend Muslims, Facebook Muslims. I mean, I'll give the potential bigot any benefit of the doubt.
He could also just be a really big Star Trek fan. Federation Muslims, Flagship Muslims, Ferengi Muslims.
Does Quark keep halal?
As I said, the state took the license plate back and apologized that it was ever issued. The article also mentions some other vanity license plates in the US that were denied last year, such as I Love Tofu, Gay, and Toilet.
Those are some weird names for bands.
Also, 3 things you never see in Star Trek.
Salisbury Cathedral has relocated a sculpture entitled The Kiss, after, according to the artist, people kept hitting their heads on it because they were walking and texting.
Kids today are not going to tear their eyes away from texting just for something as tame as The Kiss. The church needs to go a little racier. Maybe something like the second base or the rim.
Hold on, Beach. They didn't say where that kiss was.
It was clearly low enough to get in everyone's way. That's why they moved it.
Maybe instead of moving the statue, the church should have recarved it to be something the kids would recognize. Like Beyonce or SpongeBob.
That would be challenging because the statue is a pair of clasped hands forming sort of an archway over a path.
I know priests are supposed to be celibate, but I'd hope that they'd know what a kiss is.
A surprising number of them do.
I may need to go and clarify some things about my last confession then.
You're not even Orange Catholic. Also, holding hands is one of the most obscene things you can do in most of the manga I read.
I do not wish to know that, sir. Kindly leave the stage. Until next time, remember, there may be better sources for news, but they don't have this hat, which I thought would be sort of like a flat cap until I put it on, but it's way puffier than that. So it makes me look sort of like a tweed train conductor. No, a conductor of a tweed train, which sounds structurally unsound, but warm. Choo choo.